Hey y'all, just pulling up one of our decoys here. This is Aiden Gonzalez. We are going to check this, make sure this is working. We're going to try to do a live as we were watching a video here recently to discuss some of the things that are occurring in the canine industry as a whole, some observations that we've had not just today, but of course over the years that we've been involved. And I'm just going to check here to make sure this is working. So I hope y'all are able to see everything here. Let's see if this is playing.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Let's see if somebody will comment and tell us if they can hear us. So nobody's in yet. It says we've been live for 43 seconds. No, there's two people that have joined. So it must
That's
be
all
working.
right.
All right. So cool. It's working. Well, hey, Aiden Gonzalez here. He's been working with us at American Sentinel Canine and Ryan at Deep South Sentinels, trying to get some work done and take the dogs. We haven't done a whole lot of training over the last few years because we've been dealing with some other things, but we're getting back into it and going to be stepping up our game. And Aiden is one of the guys that's helping us try to get back to where we need to be. So I want to say thank you to Aiden here. How you doing?
Sir. Good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. What did you think of the live video tonight? Pretty crazy, huh?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you want to jump right into it, I'll just bounce off you. Give my thing. I don't want to start this. I'm not.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not
I
that
understand.
nice.
You know, Justin Rigby is a gentleman that is very professional. He's got a ton of experience. I'm sure I could learn some things from him, and much respect to him in that regard.
Absolutely.
And I also want to give him props for calling out things that bother him. But I do also see the other side of the coin a little bit, and I wanted to address some of the other sides that were not really spoken about that, in my opinion, are worth discussing. Because when you're working dogs, we have to ask ourselves, what is the goal? And I think that Justin's right in many regards when he talks about people trained for ego. There's probably some truth to that. But that said, there's also the aspect of training for real life. And I know that he said that, hey, I've never seen a situation like this in real life. And he's been in the street, he's been in combative situations before, and he knows a lot about that. However, I also believe that that's anecdotal because that's just a person's own perspective and own experience. And we have to look at the real world outside of just our own experience. We need to look at what other people experience, what we see on the news, and we know that there's no doubt that riots occur. Just ask Kyle Rittenhouse, okay? You know, Kyle Rittenhouse took an AR-15 when he was like 17 or 18 years old to go protect a friend of his business when a riot was occurring. And we have seen plenty of videos, not just of situations like that, but we've seen videos where somebody gets knocked down and the next thing you know, a crowd comes in and just starts stomping a person. Maybe 3 or 4 people, 5 people start stomping a person. It's happened time and time again. We've seen it in the news. Well, if they'll do that to a person, I'm not going to pretend they wouldn't do it to a dog. And because of that, I think there's a little bit of merit to making sure that if you're going to ever have a dog go into a police or military or just a serious personal protection situation, or a personal patrolman, a person that's not necessarily police, not necessarily military, but just a person that's hired security, canine security, they might need a dog that's going to be able to deliver a level of engagement that we may not want to experience. But if you get knocked down, like Kyle Rittenhouse was, fell down, knocked down, whatever, he ended up having to use an AR-15 to defend himself. And people might say, well, that's just a terrible situation. He didn't have to do that. Yes, he did. The people that were charging him, they were criminals. One of them had a firearm. At least one of them had a firearm. I can't remember if multiple of them had a firearm, but all of them had criminal records. And they were attacking him, and he defended himself in that situation with whatever force is necessary. And he actually did some things that many professionals say never happen in real life. They're like, you never need a forward assist on an AR-15. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse actually used the forward assist in his situation. He had a malfunction on the AR and he had to use the forward assist. So just because we have anecdotal experience, even no matter how experienced we may be, not everybody's experience is going to be the same as yours. You know, Kyle Rittenhouse was an 18-year-old boy and or 17-year-old boy at the time. I don't remember, and he had to use a forward assist, which is something that many professional military men who and police officers have never had to use, and say you never need it in a real life situation. But guess what? He needed it, and it saved his life. Go watch that video, and you'll see it. So just because it may not be the normal occurrence doesn't mean it won't happen. And that's why I think Dogman Jan or whatever, is that what it is? Dogman Jan?
Yeah, that's one of the decoys that was in the video.
Yeah, I think he deserved a little defense on that aspect because, you know, having multiple guys attack and check pressure a dog, it may not be a normal situation, but it does happen. It does happen in the street. And I personally, when I'm training, I do not like. Yeah, I am talking about Justin Rigby's live. Look, I have tons of respect for Justin. I really do. I could learn a lot from him, and I think he's very professional. So please don't take anything I said to disrespect him. I'm just trying to put another perspective on it because it's a very sensitive topic that a lot of people that don't have a lot of experience with things may not understand. So I'm just trying to provide another perspective. When you're training dogs, many things can happen. I don't agree with the kick that Jan did. I think that was bad call because you can't.
That wasn't Jan that did the kick.
Okay.
That
Well,
that was another decoy. But yes,
yeah. Yes, I do remember him saying that.
Maybe a little bit too much, but like I've told you before, all those videos, if the dog just smashed and stuck the grip initially, that live wouldn't have happened, and that would just been another viral video of a badass dog online.
Yeah. But what I was going to say about the kick in particular, and you're right that Jan didn't do the kick. When you're in a suit, you know, throwing a knee from a padded leg on a suit can be a fairly normal amount of pressure. The problem with that is hitting the dog with your foot and possibly hitting it in a rib or a liver and damaging an organ or a bone going into an organ. You know, that would be very bad. So I'm a complete in agreement with that. And if you're going to do any type of leg pressure on a dog, it needs to be controlled where you're hitting the dog with a suit, not with your foot in the rib cage or the liver. You know, something we don't want to damage the dog. And yeah, the dog went up really high and it was pretty dramatic. The question I have about some of this stuff is let's look at some of the police and military dogs. Where do they get them from? The number one supplier is probably KNPV dogs. And I would be willing to suspect that there's probably more dogs injured in KNPV than all of the other sports combined. And it's not from pressure, it's from prey drive. The dogs are coming in so fast at like 30 plus miles an hour, jumping up and hitting a decoy that it's like it's a collision. What happens when an immovable object hits an unstoppable force? It's like boom, you know, there's a massive collision, and those dogs, just from prey drive alone, get broken jaws, dislocated necks. It happens on a regular.
Yeah.
I don't really see anybody talking about that. And so I think
it probably hasn't happened here on video in a trial setting, in a competition setting, where a dog's just hitting super hard and the decoy does not absorb at all, just takes it.
Yeah,
and the dog is
it happens. I've seen some pretty brutal videos, and you know, in some ways, KNPV is my favorite sport because it really shows hard dogs. You know, and I like the hard dogs. If you're gonna have a dog that you're gonna depend on to protect you
with your life,
you need to know that dog is 100% about
his
that life
on the line or her life.
I mean, right. I mean, if you go hog hunting, you can't have a dog that's going to be evasive when the hog hits the dog. I mean, because then if the dog quits, now you're next target. So I think you know, in an ideal world, something like this should be a phone call, people working together, working it out, saying, "Hey, let's try to."
I did.
I just
I
said the
did
kick
it.
was excessive. I agree, the kick was excessive, but that's hold on. Let's share this comment. The kick was excessive, but it's what happens if the dog is sent for a live bite. It can happen in a real situation, 100%, Jared. That can happen. Do you think a criminal is going to
Well,
just
well,
stand there?
well. I a little bit disagree with that. In a real situation, you don't let the leash go unless they're right there, and you need to let it go and get away. But they're in the leash where they get a bite. Yeah, if they get a bite and they're not complying and they're not surrendering, get out of there and call the cops. Just
Well,
let
you're
your
talking about protection. You're talking about protection. Police. I'm talking about police. Police send dogs all the time. Uh,
absolutely. You're right. You're
and
right
so
about that.
and so, um, you know, the perpetrators. We've seen. Man, I've seen men bite police dogs. I mean, I don't know if you saw that video where the guy leaned over and bit the dog on the ear.
I mean, there's dogs in the police force that have died because they're in there waiting in the bushes or waiting in a shed. As soon as the dog comes in, bye
Yeah,
or with the knife, let him bite, start stabbing it.
right.
There's
And you
no
know,
dog that's gonna withstand that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they
And
can't survive it. They might stay in hold, but they're not going to survive it.
yeah, no, and in a legal standpoint, that's that's basically the same thing as doing that to a human police officer.
Right. Legally, it is because you're
And
insulting an officer.
unfortunately, that's in the same aspect, and I don't think it should be. I'm not condoning like if you're getting chased by the cops, don't start fighting the police dog. But I don't think you should get the same. Probably shouldn't get the same charge as you know getting a dog off you versus getting a police officer off you
Well, with a
because
police officer, you can
the,
comply
the,
and then they'll
the,
stop
the,
force.
yeah, and
But
but
with a dog,
there's also plenty of videos out there where the police dog doesn't let go. It creates so much damage on the arm or the leg or wherever it's biting, and most police departments don't get consistent good training.
you're right, 100%. I've seen a lot of, not only with dogs, but even with firearms. I mean, we've had police officers that they're unfortunately, a lot of times, they don't even know how to properly handle a firearm.
And they
It's
unalive people on a legal aspect.
yeah. Did you see the video of the police officer that was in a school talking about gun safety and he ended up pulling his leg out or pulling his gun out and he said, "I'm the only one in this room qualified to do this." Boom! He shoots himself in the leg in a classroom with kids, children.
Oh, I didn't see that, but that's wild.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
guy's
it's
an
crazy.
idiot.
I mean, um, that guy did not have the firearm skills that he should have had, and it's unfortunate that I see that type of stuff. I'm not John Wick, but I mean I know better than that.
None of us are, but there a lot of this, day to day life and in the dog training community, it's a lot of common sense.
It is a lot of common sense.
And if you can't grasp that, then maybe you should get a different dog or just not have a dog at all.
Yeah, I've
Because
seen.
when we're training dogs to bite somebody, that's a real like. Do you realize what happens whenever a real even if someone barges in your house and your dog is getting on them and you call the cops come, you get your dog off, all good, dude. You're gonna be dealing with some shit.
Right, right. I mean, in some
You're
ways, it's
gonna be
better
dealing
off to
with
have
a lot of stuff. Yeah, you're gonna
a
be dealing
dog
with
is supposed to be like last resort. All right. Look, I would rather deal with a criminal with myself or a firearm, to be honest with you. But why do I have a dog for protection? It's because sometimes a firearm won't work. Like if let's say I'm not at home and my wife and
more,
daughter is here.
more more people are scared of dogs than they are of guns.
Well, a gun is not deterrent because it's not shown. All right, people don't know it. Deep South Sentinel says, "I'm John Wick."
I bet you are, Ryan.
I need to send him an invite so he can come join. You want to join us? I don't know if I can do 3 people. You want to join us tonight?
Yeah.
Ryan?
He could probably join us. Get him on here.
I think I can. He may be busy, but I'm gonna send him an invite, and if he can't do it,
Nah, he's not busy. He's typing, watching us talk right now.
Well, I'm saying he may have family over or something. Is what I mean. Let's see if I'll send him. Hey, Ryan, I'm going to send you a message on Facebook that's got a link. If you want to join us, you can join us. If you can't, I get it. But let's see here. I'm going to send it to Ryan, not to Deep South. All right, buddy, you got the invite. So if you want to join us, come on. But he says he is John Wick. Okay, I'm going to invite him out to my range, and we're going to say, let's see it, John Wick. I don't want to, the huff and puff and bluff is not enough. You got to put your money where your mouth is. We'll put him on the shooting range and see.
You can put me on there.
Let's see.
Line him up, knock him down.
Hey, check this out. Boom. We just improved the screen. How about that? That's better.
That's a little better. Yep.
Yeah. So, let's see. I'm going to do something else. I guess I can't do it. I was going to share a picture. Share. Wait, yeah, I can. Image file. Is Ryan requesting to join? All right. Well, anyway, so where were we? Real life. Real life. It's not always as well. It doesn't always work out the way we want. I have a dog to do what the gun can't do. Deter. Okay. The dog can deter. The firearm cannot deter. Unless you pull it out, and then you actually could be charged for brandishing a weapon, believe it or not. So you don't want to pull it out unless you need to use it. So that's one of the things. It's kind of true with the dog. You don't really want to release that dog or have that dog engage unless it's absolutely necessary. So if it's necessary, then you got to do what you got to do, because being judged by 12 is better than being carried by 6.
Yep.
And the same is true for a dog in the street. Like I said earlier, some of the people may have missed it earlier when we were talking about Kyle Rittenhouse or KNPV. So I'm gonna relapse on that one a little bit and say in KNPV, I guarantee you the number of dogs injured in KNPV is probably equal to, if not more than, all the other sports combined. And yet this is the number one supplier of police and military dogs. And I don't see the police and military calling that out, So does it need to be softened? Well, maybe it does need to be softened. But the problem with softening that sport is now the police and military are going to have dogs that may be unreliable. So you don't want to soften it. You got to keep it real, because by keeping it real, that's what protects our law enforcement. And we want to protect our law enforcement because we don't want criminals raiding in our house. So we need the police and military to deal with the violent opposition that our world has. Evil exists. We know that evil exists. However, we have the Second Amendment of the United States. The reason we have the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms, to defend one's liberty, even against an agent of that government, if that defense is a defense against tyranny. Well, tyranny doesn't have to be government tyranny. It could be criminal tyranny. So we as civilians have the right to defend ourselves also, not only from tyrants, but also from criminals. And when we're dealing with criminals, it might be one-on-one, face-to-face, but it might be 5 in your back. And if it's 5 at your back, somebody might say, well, how's it going to be 5 in your back? Well, go watch a riot. You'll see people get knocked down, and then crowds jump on them and start kicking them. And like I said, if they'll do that with a person, they'll do it with a dog. And Kyle Rittenhouse, like I said, he he was a person that was only 17 or 18 years old. He had to use an AR-15, and experts say you never have to use a forward assist. And we'll go watch that video. He had to use a forward assist. For those of you that don't know what a forward assist is, when you're using an AR-15, there's a bolt that cycles back. It ratchets the next round. So when you fire, the bolt comes back, the brass is ejected, the bolt goes back into the buffer tube, comes back forward, picks up the next round, and slams it into the chamber. Well, when that happens, if something gets hung up in the bolt, or maybe the bolt is dry and is not lubricated possibly, or maybe the gun's not tuned properly, you may have too much gas going out your gas port or whatever it may be, or too little gas going through your gas port, or you get dirt in your round or whatever, and then the bolt doesn't come forward and push that round all the way in. Maybe your finger hits it because he's fallen, or a jacket gets caught by the ejection port and gets caught up in the bolt. Whatever it may be, the round doesn't chamber. Well, when that doesn't happen, experts say it's best to ratchet the charging handle, try to clear it, maybe drop your magazine. He didn't have time for that. All right. He literally had a dude charging him that had a pistol in his hand, and Kyle Rittenhouse slams the forward assist, pulls it up, and shoots that guy in the arm, makes him drop his pistol. Something along those lines. I remember looking at it quite a bit, and I remember thinking, all these people that are quote-unquote experts, so you never need a forward assist. Well, you don't need a forward assist when your only place you shoot is on a brand new, clean firearm that's been lubricated and protected perfectly, and you're in a controlled setting, and nothing's muddy, nothing's dirty, everything's going nice and perfect in a training scenario. Well, in the real world, when things don't go as the way you want them to go, you might need that item, and there's a reason that they put that on the AR-15. You know, John Stoner, or whatever his name is, I know his last name was Stoner, that made the AR-15. They put that forward assist on there for a reason, and whether he put it on or whether it was a revision later on, it was added because there's times that you need to assist that bolt to get that bullet into the chamber for the next round. And so my point on that is our personal anecdotal experience needs to be kept in check no matter how experienced we are, because nobody has the experience of the world. Somebody else's experience may be different. I don't really find myself in riots. I don't find myself in cities. I don't find myself in cities. I live in the country, a rural area. I mind my own business. The odds of me getting attacked by 5 people at once is very slim to none. Maybe 1 or 2 people break in my house, or something like that. That's probably it. I don't know 5 people breaking in homes, but go to a parade. Go to, I've never been to Mardi Gras in my life. I think it's a Sin City street. I'm just not interested in going there. It's just a dangerous place. I don't want to go there. All the floats represent pagan gods. It's just Sin City to me. But people go there, and good people go there. Well, guess what? Bad people.
I want to go there.
I'm not interested in Mardi Gras.
Just for the one time.
I don't need it. But, people go there. People love it. And you get knocked down there, you might have a crowd of 5 people jumping on you, taking your cell phone, taking your wallet.
Did you see the news last year when it was like a massacre there?
Yeah.
Someone got on the car and was just. Brrr.
Yeah.
There was I want to say 5, but maybe more people died.
Yeah.
And it's dude, that's crazy. But honestly, in that kind of situation, what is the dog going to do for you? And really, what are you doing with the dog when you're out enjoying yourself, having drinks?
Well, I'll tell you what the dog will do for you. How do people like that attack? They attack coming at your back. So the dog's going to be circling. One of the things Gypsy Stratton had, which I would like to see more canine sports do, is he did what's called the 360 on a short leash. So like the handler holds the dog on a short leash, and people are coming around you from different directions. And that's one of the things that I think Gypsy understood, because he lived in Chicago. He was in the city, and he knew that when you went out to the city, the street life in a city in certain areas are not the same as what it's like in a rural setting that I'm in, So you might have 4 or 5 people, a little gang or whatever, trying to rob you. beat you up because you're this or beat you up because you're that, or maybe they want your money or whatever it may be. Maybe you're a rival. Maybe you're just the wrong person at the wrong time. Maybe you're a target for some other reason, and they come at your back. Have you ever watched cur dogs uh, bay a hog?
Yeah, they're
All
kind of
right,
like
so cur dogs bay a hog. Now I'm not talking about a catch dog. I'm talking about a cur dog. A cur dog,
the
maybe,
hounds
yeah, they'll come and bite the
or
hog on the
or
butt.
or a cur.
Right, they'll come and bite the dog on the butt, and so the hog spins around, and then that dog lets go, but then another dog comes in, and then the hog spins around again, and that dog lets go, and another hog comes in, or
Yeah,
another
I
dog comes
think
in.
I think I think it's either that or they just kind of like circle the hog and they're just barking like keeping it at one place. Don't move. Or
Yeah,
stay in this little area so the catch dog can actually come do the work.
right. This person here said, worst example ever to use. Explain that. I don't know what you mean, so please clarify. I'd love to hear what you have to say. All right. Whoop, there we go. So
I don't know.
I don't know what he's talking about really, but I'd like to
I
hear
don't
what he
know
has to
either.
say. So, what?
I don't know either.
Yeah, um, man. I don't know. Maybe he's talking about the AR-15. Maybe he's talking about the hog dog. Maybe he's talking about Gypsy Stratton. Gypsy Stratton would he may not look he maybe he's talking about Gypsy Stratton. I don't know. Gypsy Stratton, in my opinion, certainly had some knowledge. He had some skills. Was he the best trainer in the world? No, he wasn't. Okay, and anybody that thinks that Gypsy Stratton was the best trainer in the world, I would say has very limited exposure. And if that's what you're trying to say, then I would agree with you on that. However, what Gypsy Stratton did have was knowledge about the legalities of personal protection.
Yeah.
The dude was on point for that, and so he would talk about all defense all the time. I personally don't believe in the dog working in all defense. I think the dog should work in prey and defense and fight and things like that. But using whatever drive you're using when it comes to protection, you better be only using those drives, even prey drive, in a defensive situation. Because if you send your dog on your neighbor for something, you better be able to say it's in defense of self or defense of others. You can't say, well, I wanted to attack him, because then you're going to jail.
Dog's not doing that in prey. Well,
Explain. What do you mean?
the dog will go after someone in prey drive, I would say, but unless it's a super bad dog, like, and when say that, I mean like it's a good dog. Dog's not going over there, and like
Oh no,
running.
they're not. They're going to be flying in. Yeah, they're going to be flying in.
That's prey drive.
Right, but when Gypsy Stratton said all defense all the time, I don't know if you know who he is. Do you know who Gypsy Stratton is?
I heard you name the name a couple of times. I don't know. I can't put a face to it. No.
Yeah. So, honestly, I don't think he was that good of a trainer. And somebody might say, "Well, you shouldn't dare say that." I do think he was good at defense training. Okay, I think he was good at defense drive training.
Bringing aggression out.
Bringing aggression out, bringing self-defense out. I also think that I know that he used prey drive because he had pit bulls on video that would do sends down the field or whatever. So he would also use prey drive, but he used prey drive in defensive situations. So even though he was using prey drive, he would say all defense all the time. He would never admit to using prey, because he would only send the dog down the field if a person like had a firearm and pulled their firearm out. So he said, well, since they have a firearm, I'm defending myself. Therefore, it's all defense all the time. What got him into controversy was trainers would say, but that dog's working in prey drive. And Gypsy was like, irrelevant. I'm not going to hear that. I'm not going to talk about that because I'm defending myself. And in that aspect, legally, he's right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Who is that?
Who's what?
Who is barking?
That's Chewy.
Dogs ain't
There you go.
barking.
Oh, she's in a cage. I just put her in a cage. We had company earlier. I got Reptar on the couch with me. So this is another thing. So I can have one dog that's a protection dog and have another dog that's a sensory dog. Anybody come in this house and Chewy's out and they're not somebody she knows,
Smash.
she's smashing them. Reptar, you got to like attack me or be aggressive or something, and because he's been so overly socialized tons because he's my son's dog.
And after the years went by and you made him a house dog, you were like, stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that. And
right. Put control
day
on
after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and they constantly getting that, eventually they just be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, so now you got to like attack me or attack him before, or I got to like tell him to do it. If I tell him to do it, he'll do it. But it's even then, it's kind of like a game. Am I really allowed to really get at it?
Are you sure? Because I'm about to go. I'm about to go.
Yeah, if you attack me, he'll go. I keep turning the TV on. If you attack me, he'll go. If you attack him, he'll go. Or if I say it, he'll go. But Chewy, I don't have to tell her nothing but stop. That's all I have to tell her. You know, don't get him. This gentleman never did explain what he means, so it is what it is. I would like for him to explain it, but maybe he doesn't want to.
I'm not sure. Maybe he's not even on the live anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, he may have left. I don't know. Let's see if it shows us. I've never even looked at that. Let's see. So anyway, what else is up? That's all right. That's all right. It looks like Jalik's live. We can wrap ours up and go support my friend Jalik. For those of you that don't know, Jaguar the band dog, y'all can check him out. I'm going to give him a little support. He's been helping us for a long time. I'm going to give him a little support. Let me share a link. I'm going to give him a little shout out. When we bounce out of our video, y'all go check out my friend here. I'm going to drop this link here. But if you go over to that video, take a screenshot of that. Once you take a screenshot of it, you should be able to use your photos and copy the URL and drop it in there. Go shout out to support my friend. He's been helping American Sentinel Canine Promotions quite a bit, and we certainly appreciate what he's done. So y'all can screenshot that. I'm going to count to 3. Give you a second. 1, 2, 3. Nope, it's gone. And then let's look at this next comment. Somebody said, Bam Bam is looking good, huh? Man, Bam Bam's looking great.
What do you mean, huh? What do you mean, huh? A dog that Lee will never bless me with a straight up fire pit bull, but if I had that dog, he could get level 1. He could get PDC and PSA level 1 in under a year from right now. 100%. That dog is super nice. That dog is super nice.
I appreciate it.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
I need me a dog off that dog. I need me a dog off that dog.
There you go. There you go. Well, Aiden, I think we should probably wrap this up. What do you think?
Yeah, it's all good. It's not a lot of people on here. It's all right. We can get back on here.
They can watch it later.
Yeah.
I gotta rebuild my platform. I haven't been on YouTube much lately.
We need to get on live with me, you, Ryan, and Jalik on Jalik's page.
There you go.
That'll be fire. But
all right, you take care. Y'all have a blessed night.
All right.